Okay. Yeah. So I can show a few photographs and everything.
Of course, anytime you want, yeah. Do you need to show them now?
Yeah, if I get it in,
Yeah.
so that you will know.
That's fine,
Yeah, that's okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
One at
okay.
the top.
Okay. My name is Bishnu Padodas. I was born on 5th of April 1943, a place called Dubulhati, Rajbari, in the district of Rajshahi of Bengal, undivided Bengal that time. My in the place what I said Dubulhati Rajbari is my grandmother's property, or the Rajbari. So in that Rajbari, I was born there, as it is the tradition that time that the girls goes to mother's place for the delivery. That, as far as I remember, that Rajbari was a big mansion. It is a mansion. I remember about that Rajbari, and I'm going to say something about that Rajbari. Okay, this is the Rajbari, and I remember that this Rajbari has got colossal building and different places. If you can see that Rajbari, in front of that Rajbari, there used to be elephant, there used to be a big pond, and it's quite a big pond. We used to call it as a dighi. That you can see from that this picture. There was a front, there was a pond or dighi in front of the main gate. The main gate used to be manned by the Darwan, or they used to carry the rifle so that nobody can enter into the Rajbari. If you can see in front of that Rajbari, there is a bathing hut. Now I will slowly discuss about that Rajbari pond. The front we used to call the ghat of that pond was meant only for the family members. You can also see the one elephant was generally stand there in front of that body. On both sides is a duck house on both sides of that ghat. On the right of that ghat, there is a special ghat. It's only meant for washing our thakur's utensils, etc. Because attached to that Rajbari, there was a big temple, Radha Krishna, and a mandap for Durga Puja and Kali Puja, etc. So again, on the left side of that pond, there was a special ghat for the dhobi, etc., for washing the clothes. Just in front of the ghat, there was an estuary for animals like elephant, etc., for drinking water. We used to call it as Mohana. So this is a slight descriptions of the front of that Rajbari. That Rajbari has got many rooms, etc. As far as we remember that my grandmother used to live separately from the other relations within that building. Now, okay, I will then stop here for discussion of my grandmother. Okay.
And that's where you used to live. That was your family home. That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I will now show you okay. You get the photo? No. Okay.
What was your grandmother's name?
Sneholata Rai.
Okay.
Yeah, that was that time. The Bengal was not divided, but there was a discussion going on.
Yeah.
The Bengal will be divided, but we didn't know which part of the Bengal will become part of Pakistan, and the other part will become the part of West Bengal. So this is a typical photo of my granddad and my grandmother. You can see the typical the dresses for the should not say the queen. Queen was slightly different. Now, this is my granddad and my grandmother. I think when they got married. My granddad was a pleader. He used to live in different parts of the Bengal, but he never practiced his leadership because she has got so much of properties or the zamindari, so he decided to stay in that Rajbari itself. Okay. Now, this is the typical photo. You can see that they are rajas and all that. So this is my grandmother's dad, and you can see how they dress up. Typical Raj dress. And so, okay, so you have seen my mother's mother, that is my grandmother. When they aged up, means that time I think quite a few years as it passes, this is the typical picture. And also this photo of my granddad is a typical one, means as they have been aging, so you can see that. And this is a very intimate photo of my grandmother. Such a lovely photo. Luckily we could rescue it. Okay, this is my, because I was born in grandmother's place, so I know quite a lot as I grow, and I used to, we used to go there to
What was it like growing up there? What was it like growing up?
It's a typical, you know, like a boy in a, where you can't go with, you can't go without permission anywhere, and without an escort.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Without an escort,
Yeah.
means when we were always escorted by lady, and because my grandmother has got so much of work, so they can't look after, so they used to allocate a few ladies to look after all of us. So they used to take us for a bath, they used to take us for meal and everything, and without that we can't go anywhere. It's a typical one.
Okay.
Okay.
And how many, is it just you, or do you have siblings?
No, that's myself.
Okay.
My sibling, my I can say my sister, she was born later on, and we didn't have much chance to spend time with them, with her.
Yeah.
With her. So this is the story of my, just a typical story, means these things are happening over many years, So this is my not granddad. Granddad is on the mother's side, so grandfather we can say. Father's father is the, that was, and he had a property, massive whatever I can discuss, property in a place called Dhaka. Dhaka, at that time, undivided Bengal, Dhaka was the capital of Bengal. So he had a massive property that time, and he was a real businessman. So you can see, and this photo was taken in Dhaka in a, I think, in a photography shops, and he was a big businessman. He had a wholesale timber merchant. So my grandmother used to say that we used to see the ships coming from Rangoon with full of timber. So he was a wholesale timber merchant. Besides that, he had other businesses like making candle that time. I have got a lot of history with the candle. So they used to get the raw candle, melt it, and then make it as candle. Then I think he had another, he used to do a little bit of chemicals business. So he had a lot of business, but it's all disappeared as soon as the Bengal was divided, because that part of Bengal fall under Pakistan. Okay, so roughly means when I grow up, means maybe at what stage I moved to grandfather's place. I don't, maybe I think about, because I started going to school in a missionary school probably at the age of 4 or 5. So the property we used to live, he had 3 what you call is that what do you call it as 3 sections of, you know, this where people can gather in the evening and all that. So he had 3 sections of that, and the first section was for the business purposes. So on the on both sides of the entrance there used to be a shop, because they gave it to rented, so shops was there. Then after once you cross that there was a office for quite a few people used to work there to look after his business. Then comes another place where the people can gather for any puja and all those things. After that you cross it, then there is another open space where all our utensils and everything. Then we had a kitchen, and I think one of my aunt, she used to look after that. Then we had another floor where my the big auntie used to live, and after that we used to live there, another floor, live there. My grandfather was so used to have such a luxurious life. So all the you know, these slides you see now here, they used to get it from Belgium with a Belgium color. So it's a beautiful, yeah. I think we had 2 bedrooms, one for us, another for my dad, and then there was another place for washing and all that. So that's the thing. Okay, then okay, I have a lot of memories in that, but if I start saying, say for example, I was born in that Dubulhati Rajbari. So in that Rajbari, it was a full-fledged, you can call it as, they had their own doctor, they had their own guard, then they had maid servants, or should not say maid servants, that time we used to call it maid servants. So they have different, is that okay?
Sorry? Yeah.
The maid servants, a lot of helper used to be there. So my grandmother used to have, I think, 1 or 2 maids to look after us, and my grandmother had another sister. She used to live in other side of that property, but they all used to live together, and they used to live all together. So I said to you that in my grandmother's place we have there our own doctor, own dispensary, own washerman, and all the priests, they used to do the puja and everything. So they are all separate. And if I say about that, then as far as I remember, they have 2 big gardens. One garden is meant only for flowers and everything. The another garden was made for all the fruits like mangoes, lychees, etc. And there was a big pond where they grow fish. And I remember with my elder brother, means my mother had seven sisters and one brother. So the brother and myself are of the same age. I think we both born in the Rajbari itself, but my mama, we call it mama, he was about 6 months younger than me. So she was 6 months younger than me. Then my elder brother, means my eldest Mashi's son, used to live also with my grandmother. That time that was the tradition. So we used to follow him, we used to generally follow him, and wherever he used to do lot of fishing. So we used to sit by his side and see how he catches the big fishes, etc. Then we had a big school. I think it was quite a maybe secondary school. They had their own school, own teacher and everything, and the playground. So playground. So then in the playground. So and there was a football ground and everything. So in the evening they used to play lot of volleyball, and also there was a football ground. That football ground we used to play football with our younger brothers and all that people. So yeah, and we had a little bit of fight goes on with the youngers. That's the part of the life. And I remember once one of my brother, means the other relations, I think they had they were not able to play properly, so he pushed me and on the football goal post. So I started bleeding like heavily. So all the people who were playing volleyball, they came back running, took me at home, and the doctor came, stitched and all those things. That's another part. Then we used to, we had so many rooms in our Rajbari. One room was called dancing room. Means when the British people come for visiting, so they come to dance and all that. And my grandmother,
like a ballroom, was it?
Yeah, like a ballroom. So, and my grandmother used to play very good piano, and she used to have not English cook. She used to have a cook to teach her cooking. Then we used to have a tailor. He used to have he used to have his own room, and we always try to talk to him and see what he is making, stitching and all that. Then what we used to do, because we don't eat meat. We are not supposed to eat meat or chicken, anything. If by chance somebody wants to cook chicken, it will be done outside, and it will be done by what you call it as chef, and they are generally Muslim people. They generally, and if we want to eat chicken or meat, we have to go outside. That is a separate room, table and everything to eat there in the evening. So now I will talk about my grandfather's side, father's. I described about that house, and he was a businessman, and then he had quite a few properties. Means we used to live in the capital Dhaka, so he had the business, and then he had got a big rose garden, not in Dhaka itself, slightly away from Dhaka. So the big rose garden, I used to go to that place with my elder uncle. Means we had to go there by a boat, means this boat, and we used to go there after lunch in the garden. That garden, they had got a vegetable plot and all those things. So sometimes he used to collect the vegetables and everything. Mainly it was a rose garden. Within the garden itself, there was a temple of Radha Krishna, and that temple was built just in the middle of a pond. In the middle of a pond, with upstairs where the deities used to be stay there, and probably they employed a priest to come and do all the normal puja and everything. And just by the side of the garden, there was a big property, and that property used to be rented, and it seems it used to be a school. They used to call it as Anjuman school, means only for the Muslim people. So that was there, and we used to go there by boat, stay in the temple for some time, then come back in the evening with a lot of vegetables and everything to our Dhaka property in the evening. Now, if I talk about my father had quite a big illness and everything. So he studied, my father's side, they had three brothers. Now the fourth. Three brothers. One, the eldest uncle, he used to also look after the business and everything. The middle uncle, he was a very brilliant person. His name was Dr. K.K. Das. He became first class first in commerce in Dhaka University, and he wanted to go to abroad for higher studies. So that time going abroad means it cost a lot of money, but my grandfather said, yeah, you can go, yeah, we will pay. And he went to England and studied for his master's degree in Oxford for 2 years, then came back to Dhaka, did little bit of teaching and all those things, and then he managed to get a scholarship to go to United States and Harvard University to do his doctorate in commerce. So he got his doctorate, and then they offered him a post in America itself. So he stayed there for few years, came back to Dhaka, then worked there for some time, and then again the USA offered him another professorships. So he finally went to America, settled there, and lived as long as until he retired. Then probably as he didn't have any child or anything, and so he finally decided to come back at I should say in India. Means by the time India was divided, so he came back as a professor in Andhra University, and there he stayed until he retired, and he decided that I will stay there, I will retire there, because he used to like that place. So when I grew up, but by that time I think India was divided, and I will tell about that divided in India. Luckily, my granddad means my mother's dad, they were visionary, so they already had a property in Calcutta, and it was a English style property. So they had 2-storied building, and next to that there used to be a garden. So when the partition happened, he decided that all the children, everybody, the lady and everybody should go back to Calcutta, stay in that property. But luckily, it was a 2-storied property, and that property was rented to the Postmaster General of Calcutta for some time. And luckily, the one floor was free, so we all managed to stay in one floor. We have quite a lot of, because after partition, my grandfather was not sure the safety of the ladies and the boys, so he decided to move them in that property. And yeah, after that, I think still after the division, there was no passport or anything. So means when we grew up a little bit, started our schooling and everything, we used to go to that Dubolhati Rajbari property in summertime, and we used to go by train in the night, and in the morning we reach to a station called Santahar station. It's part of North Bengal. Now in India, that's part of North Bengal. So because the Dubolhati Rajbari was a bit away from the station, so we used to go to the Rajbari by horse-driven cart, but when my grandmother used to be there, it was driven by cows. That because she won't be, she can't go in the horse driven cart. So we used to call it, it was driven by 2 cows, and probably the whole night they will be going, and we will be sleeping in one of them, and then in the morning we reach that Rajbari again. Now, as I said, that once the division happened, so that Dubalhati was fallen into Pakistan. So ultimately we know that we have to move out. But still there was no restriction, there was no passport. So we used to go in summertime, spend in the time in the garden and everything. Which again, we used to have vegetable plots and everything. That Mali used to be there. So we just go after a little bit of study to enjoy the winter sun. That's one of the story. And then what happens? And then we used to come back to Calcutta for studies. But when they decided to have a passport, then after that we never used to go there, and then we forgot. And most of the people, means our relatives, they all moved out from that Rajbari. But some of them said, no, we will stay there until we die there. So that's the story. Now, I talked about my grandfather's side. Means on my grandfather's side, I was the only boy, and there was one of my sister, which is my second uncle's daughter. She was, I think, she was disabled and didn't live for long. Didn't live for long. And then what happens? Then when I grew up a little bit, maybe at the age of 4, my grandfather or my father put me in a missionary school. So see, and they have, I think they had, my grandfather had 4 siblings, and each of them used to live their own big palace. So they used to live on the same road. So we used to, when my father put me in a missionary school, so I used to have my meal at about 9 or 10 o'clock, and then go to my next uncle's place. That uncle had another. He had one son and 2 daughters. So and he had a car. So I used to go to their house, and both of my uncle's son and myself used to go to a missionary school. That missionary school was maintained by the father. Oh, that time father, we used to scared of him because he used to have a white dress, red face, everything. That's a typical one. And then if I can't find my one of my uncle in the school playground, then I used to cry, how do I go home? But we managed. So then,
what were you studying at school? Did you have any favourite subjects or?
I didn't. Yeah, just because I was about 4 or 5, so they just started a typical preliminary schooling like English, Bengali and all that. And when my father used to buy one English book, we were very pleased to see an English book because that time. But yeah, the English book. Then when the partition happened, I left my mother and father and went to my grandmother's place, and they took me to Calcutta. And my granddad used to put me in a school in Calcutta. So I grew up there in Calcutta, and there until I was 17, I studied, passed the matriculation, and then I joined in a college for intermediate science. Once I have finished my intermediate science, next stage was going for a degree. So my second uncle, who used to be a professor and work in on the university, so he decided that I should go and stay with him and study for a chemical engineering degree. So I studied my chemical engineering degree in Andhra University. I got first class. Then I applied for a postgraduate degree for in one of the best institute in Calcutta or in India, which is called IIT Kharagpur. I got an entrance. One of the reasons was that if you do the postgraduate, you get 150 rupees per month as a stipend, so that you can maintain yourself. So,
like a scholarship?
Like a scholar, it is a scholarship.
Okay.
So, I studied for the postgraduate MTech in IIT Kharagpur. Then once I finished it, again there I got a first class. Then I applied for government jobs, and I got a scientist post in one of the institute in Odisha, which used to be a central government sponsored research laboratory. I did research work in fuel technology for some, I think 4 years. 4 years again, I managed to get a full scholarship to do PhD in chemical engineering in Bradford University with a full scholarship. By the time they offered the scholarship for so that I can maintain my wife and my son to come and stay in England. So we decided that we better go, have the doctorate, and then come back. That comeback didn't happen because I stayed there. Our second child, my daughter, Jo, was born in Bradford, and we decided after that we'll go back to Odisha, Bhubaneswar, where our research laboratory was there, but it didn't happen. So I continued. Then I worked. My first job after this doctorate was in Gerrards Cross. That time, that company used to call British aluminium.
I'm just going to stop you there. Can we just rewind a little bit?
Yeah.
So before you, so you studied out in
Calcutta.
And then can you talk to me about how you met Auntie, and then when you got married, and then we'll come. And then,
yeah.
Was it out there you got married, or did you get married here?
No, we got married in Calcutta itself.
Okay.
It was a arranged marriage. Mm-hmm. As I said, my wife, they had 7 sisters. One of the sisters used to live very near about in Calcutta. So she said that we have got a girl, why don't you come and see? So my auntie, they used to live near about, so they said, why don't you come and see the girl? And she said, okay, if you are recommending, we'll send the boy to see you. And then we met in Calcutta in a place called Victoria. But that time, all the parents of the girl are protective, so they used to come. So we met, we talked to her separately, and we said, okay, we'll get married. Because my parents' side, all the aunties there were saying, please get married, please get married. So that's how we got married in Calcutta, and a place called Ballroom, very outskirts of Calcutta. It's a small town. There she was there, so we married there. And we came back to Bhubaneswar, where I was working. So, and there we stayed for 3 years, and then we got the scholarship for my PhD with a full scholarship, so that we can look after the boy, my son, and herself.
And your son was born out in Calcutta as well?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Okay.
Yeah, and then my daughter was born in Bradford. So yeah.
What made you come over to England? Do you remember that journey from Calcutta to England?
Yeah. As I said, I had a central government job in India, and what they do, after 3 years, you can have a study leave. Means if you want to go to higher studies, you can go to study leave. Or if you wait, they generally send all the scientists for a year or two, either to USA or to the Russia. Most of the people, means research people, they used to go to Russia because we had a good relationship with India. India had a good relationship with Russia. So, but I got a scholarship, so I opted for just have the study leave for 3 years. They gave me study leave with half pay for 3 years, and I'm supposed to come back, but I didn't go. So I lost little bit of my pension. But they allowed, they kept my position open until I said, no, I'm not coming. So I lost little bit of money. So that's the reason.
And do you remember the day that you were flying out to go to Bradford? Do you remember that whole?
It is terrible. When I left they call it as Dum Dum Airport that time, I said, I thought, because my son and my missus was left in Calcutta, and she was staying with my parents, or sometimes go to her parents' house. as soon as the plane started flying, they said, I can't come back. That's a terrible. Means if I change my mind, how do I come back? That is a terrible, yeah.
Okay. And please have your tea and
Yeah.
whenever you need to. You decided, obviously you settled in Bradford and you were working there for, who are you working for in Bradford at the time?
I had a scholarship at Bradford University itself.
Okay.
So I completed my PhD. Then I worked for British Aluminium in Gerrards Cross
Okay.
as a scientist.
What was life like in Bradford at that time?
It was because it was hard. You have only the scholarship, and you. In India, it will be summer, so I didn't have much. My mother stitched one sweater for me, and just only one jacket. I said February will be quite. My God, when I get down, it was shivering, and that time you can't have much money with you. The only Reserve Bank used to permit you, say maybe 10 pounds or something, but that 10 pounds was quite enough for you to buy a rail ticket and go to university. And the university had a room for me, reserved room for me to stay. Yeah, it is terrible. Means sometimes when I used to come back to place where I used to live, it's on the road full of snow. We never see snow in India, so it was very hard.
A big shock.
Big shock, and very hard. And we never used to, washing up and all that. So started washing up and doing the shopping with no car, nothing. We have to rely on the bus. That was terrible.
What about obviously being Bengali, being Indian? Like, was that a problem being in Bradford? Was there a lot of racism? Or did you face any trouble or anything like that?
There was a racism. There was a racism. Say, for example, I wanted to apply for a job. If they find something white, then you have no chance. Yeah, there was a racism, but those educated people will not express that way. But in some of the English shops, you can get abuse.
How did you tackle that? How did you deal with that? Because obviously, being in the industry you were in, obviously living in Bradford, you said it was difficult at times. It's very different now, I guess, but I can only imagine what it was like back then. How do you tackle those difficult situations?
You have to keep quiet. Make your head down, out. Make your head, because you can't fight.
Yeah.
You can't fight with the white people. There is no need for a fighting. Just get out. That time. Yeah. But it all changed now. It all changed. Now Bradford is different. Bradford is completely different. Yeah.
Very different. And then, obviously, you had this job at Gerrards Cross. Do you remember applying for the job and that process? What was that like?
It's applying for the job. Maybe for the person who was looking for the person to recruit, he was Asian, South Indian. So he liked, and my immediate boss, he was a very nice person. Means white, but he was very nice person. The other scientist with whom I worked for, he came from, I think he came from Scottish, Scottish, and he was also very nice, highly educated. So they don't have that feeling that, oh, color, yeah. So I didn't find much difficulty.
And how was the work? Like, tell me about that whole time working in Gerrards Cross. Did you move from Bradford to Gerrards Cross?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I said, that time, because we didn't have the deposit to buy property, so the Gerrards Cross, British Aluminium said, we will give you a company's flat so that you can save some money as your deposit, and it helped a lot. So they tried to help, but like all English companies, they were not very careful, so they were taken over by again, and I think yes, it is American Aluminium Company. So its name changed to British Alcan Aluminium. So you see how the name has changed. Then I think it was taken over by the big Canadian Aluminium Company. So it chose. But after that, I don't know much about it. So I moved out.
What was your job then? What did you have to do?
I was a scientist as a powder technologist, and because I did my specializations on fuel technology, and the gentleman who recruited me is South Indian, so he was doing this furnace work and all that, because that time British Aluminium has got many companies, many branches. Two were in Birmingham, two in Scotland. So we used to go there, look after, do some research work, and because they all used to give project. So within that project you have to do report back and all that. Yeah. So most of the time you will be out of Gerrards Cross with the group.
And what about the kids? What were they doing at this time? So whilst you were working at Gerrards Cross, they were at school or they were?
My son started schooling when I was in Bradford. So yeah, and that the place where we were living means it's a private one. We used to pay the rent, and there was a church nursery, so he used to go there, and Mrs. used to, because I was away, so Mrs. used to look after him, bring him back. We had one next door neighbor, old lady. He used to look after us like anything. English lady. He used to look after my son. If he goes and if he becomes naughty, Mrs. Das, he is doing this. But she was very helpful. Some of the people are very out of the way. They will come and help you out.
What were they like growing up, both the kids?
My son is always naughty. Naughty means he is very inquisitive. He will, if we go to somebody's house, he will touch what is that. And he's not naughty, means he is inquisitive, very inquisitive. So in Bradford, we used to go for shopping in Saturday, means other days, either she started working, so we used to go shopping in Saturday, and then Sometimes I used to hold him, but sometimes he will just mess around and go this side, that side. It's very difficult to control him. But now he's grown up, more responsible, big family. So, yeah.
What about Joe?
Typical girl. Dad, I want this. I don't like this. Typical Joe, but she was not naughty. She used to be very calm and quiet. Don't move anything, but watch. Yeah, and watch. She's just a normal Bengali people. We used to have one neighbor in Birmingham, and yeah, a neighbor in Birmingham. And he was a Punjabi, so they have one son and daughter. Daughter was like almost same age. So only she used to play with her, and they used to live very across the road. So yeah.
So Birmingham. So after Bradford, you went to Giles Cross. Then after that company got bought out, then you moved to Birmingham.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about that whole
The
time there.
yeah, Birmingham. We stayed in, first of all, on a semi-detached property in Birmingham. Then we stayed there for 2 years and moved out to a detached property because there was a good offer. So we moved there, and in
Was
that.
you renting or buying?
Did
you rent or were you buying?
No, buy.
Buy. Okay.
Buy. So we bought it, and in that Birmingham property, we stayed there 40 years. 40 years, we didn't have much problem at all. 40 years, and after that, I had some cancer problem. So we had to move, and we sold our property and said, and we stayed with Joe for 6 months before we bought this one. Luckily we managed to get this one because we were looking for a house. If it was a house, then it would have been difficult for me. Luckily Joe looked at it and said, "Dad, you must get it." We saw the first day, and immediately she said, "Let's offer." And that time we didn't realize that it needed all this. It was a completely renovation. We renovated the property completely, and that's why it took, I think, 3 months to do everything new, because she didn't do much, not look after the property. So we did it, and then in September 21, we bought it, and December, Christmas time, we moved in. And my son lives in Marlow. It's only 5 to 10 miles. So he can come anytime, but he also works for big medical company. So he travels. So whenever he gets time, he will come and say hello. Especially at this stage, he comes and say hello. And Joe comes whenever it's possible.
Nice. It's nice being closer to everyone.
Big closer. If we had been in Birmingham and decided not to, because in that time itself, thing is that I didn't know I have a cancer that time. And we thought we sell the property, come near to the children. If I had not signed the agreement, probably I used to live, I would have lived there. But God said, they said, sell it and go. Otherwise, either Joe or Pratik to come to Birmingham to look after us. It's not possible. 100 miles to go, 100 miles to come back on the same day, or stay in the, because we had a four-bedroom property. You can stay, but that is not feasible.
So, obviously there's a whole span of life we haven't talked about, we've kind of breezed over it.
Yeah.
And I want to know a little bit more about that.
Yes.
We come to like present day, because you've got an interesting story. So, when we've gone from now, obviously Giles Cross now to Birmingham.
Yeah.
At what point were you like, okay, I've got enough money now and I can buy a house?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that whole period of your life? Do you remember when you were like, okay, this is my goal, this is what I want to achieve,
Yeah.
this is what I want to get to? Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah. Because Gerard Scouts gave us 2 years, just stay there with a very minimum rent, say, save the money with Abbey National, and then you buy a property. Okay, we stayed there, and then we started looking for a property to buy because you could get a mortgage with a little deposit, and then we started to look at High Wycombe or in Slough. Slough property price was a bit high. High Wycombe was affordable, so with our savings and mortgage, we bought a property in High Wycombe on a flat, top flat. So it was a beautiful flat, top step. We stayed there for 3 years. We stayed there. Then I got a job there in Birmingham. Birmingham. With
What was the job?
It was a systems engineering. With that time the company used to be called Lucas. They used to make car parts and so many things. So I got a job there, and we sold our property in High Wycombe, that flat, and bought this semi-detached property in Birmingham. We stayed there for 2 years. Then there was an offer, so we moved to very near to our place where we were living, to the completely detached property. And we stayed in that property 40 years. So many things happened. Children got married. Then we used to live typical Indian lifestyle. Friends in the evening, in the Saturday, cooking and everything. Go to their place, or attend the puja and all those things. So that's the normal life.
Did you find a community there that you fitted in well with?
Yeah, we found a Bengali community, and we just mixed with them. We had quite a few friends. We used to invite them. They used to invite us. We used to join the puja celebrations like Durga Puja, Kali Puja and all those things, Diwali. Yeah, we had a very good Bengali community, but we used to mix with the English friends also. We had a very good English friends. They used to invite us for dinner. We used to invite them for dinner. Yeah.
It's nice because I feel like things are very different now, where our generation, like we have loads of friends, but it's a lot harder to see each other. Like we don't mix with our neighbours as much as I remember growing up. When I was growing up, my mum would have all the neighbours round for dinner,
Yeah.
or her friends round, and we'd go over there
Yeah. Constantly.
And it was like there was never a time where we had to. I remember, like, especially during like the Hindu New Year,
Yeah.
we'd go around to family's house. We didn't have to call to say I'm coming. We'd just go. We'd turn up.
Yeah.
And family would just turn up. It was very different then to what it is like now.
It is.
Now you have to get it in the calendar and book it in.
Book it in.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. Means our next generation they are getting away, either becoming English. So they are getting, probably they are losing in touch.
Yeah.
But the another generation who are coming from India now, they used to bring their own tradition here. They, but still it is, look at the calendar, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
They are just moving away from the our old traditional culture to the, probably they are going to English culture.
How do we, I guess it's quite a difficult question to answer, but how do we keep our culture alive in the next generation, in our generation as well? Is there any advice that you could give to us?
Your generation will try to keep the old tradition, your generation, but even in your generation, some of the families are moving away, going to either English culture, but your generation, our generation, still trying to be within the community, which we find it very, very helpful.
Is there anything we could do to make sure that the next generation also stays in touch with culture?
Yeah, you can. So if you bring up your children with your own culture, yeah, they will pick it up. They will pick it up. But also it's helpful if they pick up also from the outside culture, so that they know both. So we say, for example, we celebrate Christmas. Probably you celebrate in a different way within the community. You get everybody in the community habit. But again, you can have English culture. They said all the Christmas party, mom and dad only, or the friends only, slightly different. But yeah, if you can maintain within your culture, that's useful. Plus also, let them have little bit of English culture. Then they will know. They will not find it difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. So I heard something once, and it's always stuck with me, and it's a little bit about why we're sitting here today, because someone once said to me, you can only know who you are and where you're going if you are able to know where you came from. And it's always stuck with me. So for me to understand who I am today, I need to know my past.
Yeah.
And that's like, you've told me your whole story about your grandfather,
Yeah.
your granddad, your grandma.
Yeah.
And it's been very interesting to see now that impact that it's had on you and your story, and now it's going to have on your kids and your
Yeah.
grandkids.
Yeah.
So with that, actually, I just want to rewind a little bit, because you obviously mentioned both the kids have got married.
Yeah.
Do you remember that time as well, and how you felt when they both got married?
Yeah. Because we used to say, when you are grown up, when you are able to stand on your own, get yourself married. But marry within the community. Marry within the community, but we are not going to force you. But please, be careful whom you are marrying. Yeah. But it would be nice to marry within the community. It's always nice. Whatever you can think, that if you can get your son and daughter married to your Indian community, maybe different than the language you speak or I speak, but it is still nice. Oh, I know, I can talk to them. But once you marry an English, you're gone. Gone means either you go that side So you have to be careful.
You lose touch with your culture.
Yeah.
You forget. Yeah.
You forget. Yeah. Say, for example, my son married to a Punjabi girl. Their culture is different, our culture is different. But we try to teach to my son that please maintain culture, but if you are picking up your wife's culture, that also you respect them. But don't forget your own culture.
Yeah.
A lot of people are forgetting that, forgetting, but we can't do anything. But at least you know that you are in a community, Indian community, but different. Say, for example, quite a few of our friends' son or daughter married to Maharashtrian. That's fine. There's nothing wrong, as long as they are happy. But if you married to an Englishman or English girl, you are completely out. That is what we feel.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you've done a lot in your life. You've achieved
Yeah.
a lot. Is there anything that you're most proud of what you've achieved? Or is there a time in your life that you're most proud of?
Yeah. Means we have earned quite with a lot of we earned enough to buy our own property, quite happy. We have earned some more properties, and we are trying to save those properties to pass it on to the children. So we are proud.
And how much has like faith and religion played a part in your life? Has it played a part?
Faith has played a lot. If you don't have faith and on your religion, then faith, yeah, you have to say, that is my faith, that is my fate also. And no, you see, before I came to England, my mother said, you must get married. Then I have a Gurudev who I'm his disciple. So, and you rely on your faith, you rely on your Gurudev and try to follow his teaching. And yeah, and try to be honest. There is no point if you are not honest. Maybe whatever, but at some stage it will not help you. No, I'm proud. Whatever I have done, I'm near to the children. I mean, as much as they can help, both of them, we are just proud. And we have grown up 2 grandsons and one grandson and 2 granddaughters. They are all grown up. They go to good school, not a private school, good school. Private school I could not have afforded. So we are proud of. And I am proud of that. I have worked all of my life. I'm proud of. Means whatever money I get by hard work. Yeah.
And obviously you've got grandchildren
Yeah.
now. They might watch this in, let's say, 20, 30 years' time.
Yeah.
Is there a message that you'd like to give to them? Is there any advice you want to give to them? Any messages you want to give to them that they can watch in years to come?
Yeah. Keep faith. Follow your religion. And try to be within the community, whatever community you have. Okay? I think we stop now.
Yeah.
That's fine.